Happy Friday, everybody. It's the Resize, and this video is going to be uh, the overall about Madden NFL uh, 20, but the series in general, direction it's going, uh, all the faults and imperfections, uh, just the overall state of the series, and I'm gonna try to be in depth and talk to the community, regardless of your PlayStation. You play Madden on PlayStation or Xbox One. I think the I think I just want to start out with my background. So I am 44 years old. I played the first Madden on Sega Genesis. It was one of the funnest football games that I had ever played. Uh, you know, the Going back to Nintendo days, back in 1985, I played the first Tecmo Bowl, which was absolutely fantastic and fun. I played some really doozies of football games, 10-yard fight, Atari football, which literally was about as bare bones as possible. A 10-yard fight was interesting in itself. The absolute worst football game I've ever played, worse than any Madden football that's been out, is the NES football game. It had real players. I'll give it credit for that, but it was just yuck. But you didn't have anything, so I played it. It was football. I loved football. It was when it was a time when the New York Football Giants in 1986 they won the Super Bowl. That's when I really started to love football, and that's when I became the Giants fan that I am. Um, Go Giants! Yeah, I'm wearing my jersey. Yeah, they're fantastic right now. Team to be very proud of. So being able to play with the Giants, because the first Tecmo Bowl did not have NFL teams. It had a New York team. It had Lawrence Taylor, and Bo Jackson was probably the greatest video game uh, football player that you can play with. Just fantastic. Lawrence Taylor was the best defensive player. It was just so much fun. I love Lawrence Taylor. He's always one of my favorite Giants, despite all his imperfections. Just one of the most, you know, not to go into too much detail, but we'll never see another NFL defensive player win MVP. I don't think, which I think is the most. I don't like out of like a defensive player won the league MVP in 1986, and it wasn't even his best defensive season. So I digress. So him playing with him on the game, and then playing Tecmo Super Bowl, which is the funnest game like I've a gaming football experience I've ever had in my entire life. I got to be the Giants, which ironically won the Super Bowl that year too. Um, just stats accumulation, season, playing with the Giants, taking out players, putting them in for other players. I got to put Dave Meggett in over O.J. Anderson or Rodney Hampton, uh, Phil Simms, Jeff Hostetler, all real NFL teams, all real NFL players, getting to play with any team and becoming having them become good, having the stats, and then the thing that I love the most about Tecmo Super Bowl, the ending was like, oh my god, it was like you won the Super Bowl, and it was like the most amazing ending that like I've ever experienced in my life. It was like it made going through like a season and then winning everything. It was like wow, the reward was amazing. Like just it was kind of I took highlights from all parts of the season. It wasn't really part of the season, but just took like all like accumulation of different things for the season. Tecmo video games for Nintendo, the endings of them were always fantastic. Ninja Gaiden for Tecmo, when you won the game, which that was really a challenge to win games back then, there was no save. With Ninja Gaiden, you had to go 6 hours into the game, no saves, and beat the whole thing. You get to the final boss, you lose, you got to start all over again. So when you met, and then to go through such a tough challenge and to win the game and then just have this amazing ending, is like awesomeness, so to have that for a football game, so and we'll cue back to Sega Genesis days. Madden was on there, playing that game. That game was always fantastically awesome, and just a lot of fun. And then as it got to I think it was '94, when then it had the real NFL teams and free agency. Before the NFL teams with Madden, it was just numbered players. That was based on the NFL counterpart. So they got the licensing, players, free agency. Then you got to be able to edit teams. Um, the Sega Genesis Madden was awesome and had a very unique feel from other different football games, and I thought that's what I loved about Madden. And then it had the sound effects. John Madden, as a commentator, he was always like one of the most awesome people to listen to. It's really weird that he's not commentating anymore, but it's been a while now. I think like I don't remember the last. It was probably early 2000s was the last time John Madden commentated. So it's been like 14 or 15 years. But him and Pat Summerall were just amazing to listen to, especially during like the 80s and then 90s. Um, and then obviously you have the commentary teams now, but like John Madden was just very animated and just like a pleasure to listen to. So you had him go into the game, and then games like with sports talk football with Joe Montana. I remember that. Then the game started having commentary, and as somebody who modern gamers with the way PlayStation 4 and Xbox are absolutely very spoiled, because when I was a kid growing up, all the things that are such taken for granted are they really started becoming innovations. Like a game to have commentary, like if you have never been a sports game, you love sports, and you're watching and you see commentary on the TV, and then you start playing a game, sports talk football, sports talk baseball. Sports talk baseball from Sega Genesis is one of the greatest games, most funnest games I've ever played in my entire life for a baseball game. And it just had the commentary. It was like the mind blown amazingness to that. So, games had commentaries, and then as Madden evolved, it became editing, and then they came with the reason why I play football games. I play a football game because I want to take the Giants to the Super Bowl. I want to build an awesome team. I want to develop players. I want the Giants to be the best team, especially in the last 5 since after 2013. It's been a torture to be a Giants fan. So Madden is the way that I deal with it, because in Madden I can make the Giants awesome, and I can make them like all the players that I love that kind of maybe suck in real life, but I can take those sucky players, I could develop and turn them into something awesome. I can play with Eli and have him finish his career on a strong suit. Even though Mr. TFG makes Eli horrible. But that's the beauty of that's why I don't play for Ultimate Team. I don't care about like taking all these things. I play because I want to be able to take my team, as crappy as it is, and build it into something that's amazing in the Super Bowl and bring it to the Super Bowl. And I want an amazing ending. I want an amazing halftime show. It's like Madden, and I'm going to get now into the state of Madden. I hope I didn't ramble too much, but the state of Madden right now, there is some good things about it. I would say in Madden 20, Madden 19, the thing that I absolutely love is the ability to edit as much as I am the players, their development traits, get to edit them, and just the amount of different ratings I think is awesome. I think that as the ratings have evolved and to get more accurate portrayals of players, I think that's awesome. I think the thing that I love about Madden, since it's gone to next gen PS4, is the way, like, that one thing I don't take for granted, and I think is the most amazing thing about Madden, is the ability, like, to get out of a play. Like, there was never anything like that before. If you call the play, and then the defense called an all-out blitz, and you're outmatched. You're done. There's nothing you can do about it. But like to get into play, you know what? And if you know and you're able to read defenses in Madden, you see something, boom, you can audible into like a play to adjust out and screw the person. Or if you see that they're trying to hide an all-out blitz, and you see what they're doing, you can audible into something and they don't know what's going on, and then you're going to screw them. You're going to punish them. So I think the ability to do that in Madden, that's what I love the most about modern Madden. Maybe people take that for granted. I absolutely do not. I think being able to adjust a play based on the defense or the coverage, be able to read coverage, and maybe the zones, the zone concepts and everything are not where the man-to-man coverage is not where there is, but there is some like really awesome things I think about the Madden games. I think the ability to customize a draft class and the players that come in, if you want to make real players or just make your own amazing players come in, and being able to do that, I think is absolutely fantastic too. I think those are the best parts of Madden. I think this year the thing that I absolutely love about it is the abilities, the different levels of players, which I think are better. I think the ability, that the average player is the lowest, and then just a great player, a superstar, and a superstar X factor, I think is really good, because I think what the misconception about the NFL is no player in the NFL sucks. It's just there's amazing players. Anybody who is in the NFL is like an amazing athlete, and like is just a fantastic athlete. It's just there's different levels of amazing in the NFL, and like I think superstar X factor players, I think is a wonderful creation, because I think that identifies the amazing things about the NFL, and like the amazing things about having matchups and stuff, because like I said, superstar X factor is somebody that's gonna consistently beat whoever is going against them, whether it's on offense and defense. And I think that's fantastic. So that being said, with the way the game has been since its 2000 Madden 19 with Antonio Brown on the cover, there's it's an unacceptable amount of bugs, errors that people have to deal with for a high technology, with all the money that they have to make the game, and to have the type. I remember last year playing Madden 19, playing against the computer with somebody. I'd go throw a player down, he'd get back up and start running 70 yards. I don't think last year with the Madden game, I don't think I've screamed in frustration and anger at a game as much as I did with that one. I know that there was times at 12:30 at night, me screaming. People must have thought that I was in an abusive relationship or I was beating somebody, the way that I was screaming due to that game. So there is a lot of like unacceptable flaws with with the amount of technology and stuff. Like I don't understand how something like that can happen. Even to this year, what the all the different types of errors that are happening with the kicking meter, and that just taking forever to go on, and just the things with like all these errors. They're making all these consistent updates, which seems like it's a great effort, but I don't really care that you have a year to make a game. You know what? Like you have enough money, technology, and resources, unless I'm ignorant, where you should be able to overcome it. It shouldn't be happening into the game. Like the quality of the game has absolutely been like just really poor, and all the things that like just the thing like it's really apparent for the past since PlayStation 4's came in. Electronic Arts, EA Sports has not been able to handle the technology and create a game in the time frame that they're given. And I think that's really something they need to consider if they're going to make a consistently great football game. You know what? If the game is going to come out every year, you have a year to make a game. Now, any game that I've played and any games that have been designed that have been absolutely fantastic, amazing, like it's taken at least 2 years to come out. Like Batman Arkham Asylum, one of the greatest games, funnest games I've ever played in my entire life. Batman Arkham City, it took 2 years to come out. So it's and the game was fantastic too. It wasn't, I didn't have the same amount of fun as Batman Arkham Asylum, but Batman Arkham City, amazing game, beautiful depth, graphics, everything. There wasn't any like amount of errors that Madden has. It's just wow. Like, so what do you do to solve the problem? And the other thing too is just like when you're playing a game, if it's supposed to be a broadcast, uh, it's a very shitty broadcast. Have a pregame show, immersion. Have a pregame show. Have a halftime show. Have personalities. You have Brandon Gaud and Charles Davis. Take some new personalities in the pregame. Talk about other games. Talk about the game. Have multiple commentary teams. You have all this money to do this stuff. You're making billions and billions. You can't get in a more immersed franchise. It shouldn't be called franchise. It should be called like just something much less. It isn't. It's you get for the amount of money that they make, and the NFL is having them represent their product. It's an absolute dog shit thing. Like the NFL has personalities. The NFL, we don't just turn in. How many of us start watching football at 10 o'clock in the morning because we want to do the pregame show? When you watch the Super Bowl, you just tune into the game. How many immersed fans watch the pregame for hours before you go to the football game, and then you watch everything after the presentation? How many times do we watch football about looking to find out about football on Sports Center? Like the NFL is a 24/7 fans thing. And in Madden, there's the game that you play, which is fun sometimes, and then let's go to we got the coach. Okay. We got Sam Darnold against Eli Manning. Yeah, it's got Sam Darnold get to the game. And okay. Oh, we won the Super Bowl. Oh, look it's my favorite player picking up the Super Bowl and there's confetti. Whoop-de-doo. It's absolutely unacceptable. I want to play a football game. You know what? Give me a pregame show with personalities. It doesn't have to be real personalities. Make them actors. Play the game. You know what? Sometimes in the halftime show, if you're getting your ass whooped in the halftime show, I want to be a coach. I want to see a coach get pissed off, throw shit, and be like, "Are you going to take that? Let's go." Get me fired up to go out in the second half and beat the living crap out of whoever I'm playing. Get fired up. Football's an emotional game. You see a little bit here and there and things, but there's so much more they can add. You know what? Like, get some immersion with that. Have these there's a reliable stat that we don't ever talk about. Haven't seen in Madden, QBR. And like what Marcus had said, I love listening to him. He is so amazing in everything he says. It's just the positions have evolved in the NFL, and Madden has positions that are not accurate anymore. So it's like you have all this money to make an amazing game. So what are you going to do to make it? So it's just lacking so much. In Soft Drink TV, I'll give him props too. He made so many amazing things. The game is very poor. It's not anywhere where it was. There are some great things about it, but there's a lot lacking. And what can and then I'm going to just bring to the final part of this video. What can we do as fans to get the game to where we want it to be? All these people, so I think instead of going to EA and saying, "Hey, your game sucks, make a better game," we need to go to the NFL, because the NFL is paying EA to make a game for them. So the NFL, if they say to EA, "If you want to, you have this contract, but we have a very unhappy base of people," and they have people making money, but the NFL is very conscious and things like that. They don't handle everything perfectly, but if they have unhappy fans about things, I think the better avenue, if you're unhappy with Madden, the football game, is not to go to EA and to complain to them. Complain to the NFL. Go to find somebody who's part of the NFL. Go to write things. If we have a lot of people, the only way that things get changed is not by one person saying something they're unhappy. You need as many people as we have to express unhappiness. I worked in customer service, and you know what? When a customer was unhappy, and the company that I worked for was very customer conscious, if they found out, regardless of whether the reason a person was unhappy was legit or anything else, customers unhappy, if it's a good company and they're going to make efforts to make customer happy. You know, sometimes there are bigger entities that, you know, they've made your money off of you, so they don't really care. And I think EA is kind of like that. You know, it's like, you gave me your money, you know, so obviously you're not that unhappy. So it's like talking to a brick wall with EA. I think the only way that change can be absolutely, really, at least started, like a spark of change, because it has to start with a spark. We need to go to the NFL, and we need to go, you know what? I want a better video game. Give me a better video game. You want my money? Give me a better video game. You know what? And I say it, and then, like, everybody who listens to this video, or anybody who listens to this video, I'm going to put it on Twitter, tweet this out. Let's make a commitment to getting, like, we want a better video game. With all the amazing things about the NFL that the video game is not lacking. There's about 300 trillion awesome things about the NFL, and Madden takes about 3. That's not a good ratio. That's absolutely unacceptable. So I am also, the final part of this video, I'm so excited to be a part of transferring the TFG roster from Xbox to PS4. You know, it's going to be coming out in the moment, sometime today. I'm going to tweet when it is. I'm happy. I am so happy that I am able to be a part of making Madden better, because the TFG roster makes the game, makes franchise playable, fun, awesome players at the top. Wide discrepancy, because that's it. Like, Julio Jones should not be in, like, Marvin Jones should not be about 5 or 6 points, 5, 10 points less than Julio Jones. Julio Jones is in another planet than Marvin Jones. Or what Marcus says about Travis Benjamin. Travis Benjamin is not a difference maker in any type of way, should not be rated as a difference maker. He's a fragile player. He is going to get yards and, like, maybe 2, 3 deep plays a year where he'll make an impact, but he ain't making any type of impact consistently. And running backs like James White should not be ever rated in the 80s. James White is a third down back. He's really great at being a third down back. A third down back is somebody that is on the field once, or in passing situations. You're not going to run a third down back in any type of consistent. He is not a Saquon Barkley, and Saquon Barkley is rated an 89 in Madden. James White's an 86. You're going to tell me that James White is almost on the same level as Saquon Barkley, as poorly as Saquon Barkley is playing right now? EA ratings are absolutely, I can't play Madden in franchise with EA ratings. I absolutely refuse to. I can't wait to play with these ratings, and that's the way it is. So I'm happy to be a part of it. You know, please like this video if you do, if you get something out of it. I think I covered a lot of stuff. I was really excited, passionate, and good. You know what? Everybody have a wonderful Friday, and stay tuned on Twitter. You know, I'll let everybody know when that roster is released. God bless.